Hey everybody, welcome on the Innovation and Strategy blog. Today we're welcoming Gustavo. Hey Gustavo.
Hey Guillaume, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back on. We discussed many different topics with you. We talked about how to become a business angel when you're broke. We talked about what venture capitalists do and how to rank one activity against the other on a specific matrix. You can find all that great content on the blog. But today we are going to talk about people you admire in the innovation ecosystem. And that's a question I asked you. And you mentioned a person. Let me see if I can find his name. His name is Peter Livingston. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so Peter Livingston, that's Livingston.
Yeah.
So who is Peter Livingston?
So Peter, to be frank, I'm not a very close friend to him yet, at least, but he's a guy I co-invested in some occasions. And if I could describe him in a couple of sentences, I would say that he has had a background as an operator in some tech companies. And one of these companies, he more or less hit not the jackpot, but he did really well and went with the company until IPO. And made a significant amount of money that allowed him to explore other professional and intellectual activities. And one thing he had already been exploring was angel investing and venture capital. And once he had the liquidity to dedicate himself full-time to it, he founded Unpopular Ventures. And Unpopular Ventures started as a syndicate on AngelList, which is, I think, we discussed in our previous conversation. And later, it also became a rolling fund, which is a fund model that it's always more or less always open for new capital. And you just renovate, it restarts every quarter. And so he has both access to dry powder from people that commit with him through the rolling fund. And also he has other folks such as myself who co-invest with him from time to time on specific deals.
Okay, now before we continue, just a few words that you used that I'm not too familiar with. You said, quote, he is an operator in a tech company. That means he was an employee, is that correct?
Correct.
So he was basically
I think he was an early employee.
A full-time employee in a startup.
Yeah, correct.
And one of these startups hit the jackpot, went to IPO. There he got liquidity. And with that liquidity, started exploring the venture capital world and the angel investing world and founded the Unpopular Ventures syndicate on AngelList. Is that correct?
I think that's correct. And I hope you'll have the chance to confirm that with him.
Okay. Now, okay, that makes sense. And you said that his fund, now this is something I've never heard of before, was, quote, a rolling fund, which, if my understanding is correct, is reopened on a quarterly basis to attract more capital. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, this is different from the traditional venture capital model because most of the time you raise funds for a specific period of time, and then the fund is closed. And then 10 years down the road, or a bit more, you return the capital to your investors. Now, this is not this. Is that right?
No. So I would say that there are three main ways you can do venture investments as a firm. One is through a syndicate or SPV, which is I am investing on a company. I invite my friends and my people who I'm close to co-invest with me, and we create an entity that only exists to invest in one specific company. And that's why it's named Special Purpose Vehicle. And on AngelList, which is the most popular platform for this, it's called a syndicate deal.
Okay, that's so one. A syndicate deal is specific to a startup.
Yeah.
As opposed to a VC fund that can invest in multiple startups.
Perfect.
Okay.
If I own a syndicate, the syndicate is I have my mafia, the people who are close to me there. And once I have an opportunity, I bring it to them. And if we raise enough capital to invest in a company, we create a deal and invest in that company. And the syndicate lead represents all those folks with the founders and decides everything on behalf of everyone.
That makes sense. Kind of like a managing director, general manager in a venture capital fund sitting on a startup board. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's similar.
Okay. Okay, so now I get all the words that you used that I was not familiar with. Thank you very much. So why do you admire Mr. Livingston?
So I would say that there are not a couple, but multiple reasons, and I'll try to list the most important ones. One, he's very open on what he thinks and on his opinions. And one thing that he openly says all the time is that the most unpopular deals he's seen and invested in were the most successful ones. Like the companies that everyone wanted to invest, some of them did well, but the returns weren't as great as the ones that he had a hard time finding other people to co-invest with him. And his thesis, it really follows the name of the syndicate in his venture firm, which is Unpopular Ventures. There needs to be a reason why this deal is unpopular. If it's a consensus, the price point that you'll be entering in an opportunity will already be too high. And the reason why it's unpopular must be something that he or his partners believe that it's not a big deal. It's something that can be sorted out in the future, or people are misinterpreting it. This is one thing, how he positions, and it's clearly counter positioning, and he has he's bold and make bold assumptions. Second, I co-invest with him in several opportunities, and I can say I'm very happy with the performance of our investments together. Although I haven't followed him on all deals, the ones I'm in, I'm super happy. Other things, he's a great communicator in terms of how his letters to his investors are super clear. He's not filling them with junk. He's he and his partners are very direct and open as much as they can be. But what truly differentiates him is the fact that he doesn't accept that the model that will be the leading model in venture capital in the coming decades will be a model such as Sequoia or Andreessen or whatever. And he thinks that venture can be reinvented through different dynamics. For example, syndicates can be a great syndicate can be the next Sequoia in the next decade, for example. And he's making all he can to be the syndicate that takes Sequoia's place in everyone's mind and be the top of mind investing vehicle. But he doesn't affirm that it will be him, but he truly believes that this model has the potential to disrupt the scenario. And one thing that he himself personally did to disrupt the whole venture investing model, and especially the syndicate investing model, is creating a scout program. And the scout program is something like sharing the pie with the people who are helping you grow the pie. And sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm listening.
And for example, I follow Peter on his syndicate. I think he also follows us on ours. And if I find a deal and I refer this company, this opportunity to Peter, hey, Peter, I have this opportunity. here I met this founder and it looks interesting. And if he and his team analyze the company and end up investing in the company and creating a deal to co-invest with other folks, if that company does well, he will be sharing 20% of whatever he is making with the person who referred that deal to him. It's like a finder's fee, just based on the success. And if we apply game theory there in this context, he forced all other syndicate leads to also share a part of the success of the carried interest with the people who are helping everyone is doing that too. And this is one thing that I like so much, the dynamics of directly incentivizing your co-investors and your network with you, that's something that we're also applying on our second traditional venture fund.
Okay, perfect. So that makes sense. Let me see if I can summarize it for you. Basically, you said that you admire him for multiple reasons. He's a very open individual, open to sharing ideas. He has developed what one could call a contrarian investment thesis of investing in unpopular startups, as popular startups tend to see their price increase because there are many people that want to invest in them, whereas unpopular startups have a lower price point. And while they are unpopular today, they might become popular tomorrow. You might tweak their business model in some way or other to turn their unpopularity into popularity. So the unpopularity issue is actually not that prevalent. You mentioned that he is thinking about disrupting the venture capital industry, who are hoping to do so to become the next Sequoia in a sense. And this is based on syndicates and is also based on sharing the carried interest with those that find the promising startups. I understand that he could share up to 20% of the carried interest with the scouter. And finally, you also mentioned, actually in the middle, that he was writing these great letters to investors where there is no bullshit and no junk. It's to the point.
Yeah.
Does that capture your admiration for Peter Livingston?
Yes, I would say that once we're writing our letters to our investors, I tend to inspire on the way that he writes to his investors. We're not copying completely, but we get some inspiration. And I would say that the Scout program is more or less a copy of what he brought to the syndicate world, and we're bringing to the Latin American traditional fund environment.
Okay, interesting. Why do you think his views should be more widely known?
I think he doesn't yet receive all the attention and press that he will be receiving in the future if he keeps delivering on what he has been in the past, I don't know, a couple or 5 years or so. And his firm is growing at a rapid pace in terms of people that he's agglutinating to him. I think his first partner is a Frenchman called Thibault. And it's very diverse, the set of people that are on Unpopular Ventures now. And he will be very successful in the future if he just keeps doing what he's doing. And I wonder what will happen if he keeps innovating, just like he's done in the past year.
Okay, great. So look, thank you very much, Gustavo, for sharing your views. So you mentioned your admiration for Peter Livingston, who's a VC disruptor. Does that summarize it in just a tweet?
Yeah, that's perfect. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, look, thank you very much. Have a great day. Long live Brazil, and let's talk very soon.
Thank you. Let's
Thank
do
you.
it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.